Hello student, this is Palla Darbari, your host, and you're watching Palla Darbari classes. In this video, we will discuss Business Studies, Class 11, Chapter 7, Sources of Finance. This is the first volume of the chapter, Sources of Finance. We start the video with the meaning of finance. Listen, the term finance means money or fund. The requirements of the fund by business to carry out its various activities is called business finance. So what is business finance? The requirement of the fund by the business to carry out its operations is called business finance. Listen, finance is needed at every stage in the life of a business. A business cannot function unless adequate funds are available to it. If the funds are not adequate, the activities of the business is impossible. So business can only flourish, or the activities in the business can only carried out when the adequate funds are available. Let us see the need of business finance. Why the business finance is being needed? Let us discuss. First is fixed capital requirements. In order to start a business, funds are needed. Why? To purchase fixed assets like land and building, plant and machinery. Listen, without plant and machinery, the production cannot be carried out. Without building, the production cannot be carried out. So to start up the business, the businessman has to spend the money for the procurement of land and building and plant and machinery. The funds required in fixed assets remains invested in the business for the longer time period. The money invested in the building machinery is for the longer period, and it is mandatory for the business to invest the money in plant and machinery, because without plant and machinery the production activities cannot be carried out. Next is working capital requirement. The next need of business finance is working capital requirement. When I say working capital requirement, it means the business houses need fund to meet out the day-to-day activities of the business. The money needed to meet out the day-to-day activities of the business is called working capital requirements. Working capital is required for the purchase of raw material, to pay salary, wages, rent and taxations. The requirement of the working capital or the amount of the working capital depends upon many factors like operating cycle, credit availability of the credit. These are some of the examples which determine the amount of the working capital. The next is diversification. When I say diversification, it means dealing in multiple line of production. A company needs more fund to diversify its operation to become a multi-product company like ITC. The next is technological upgradation. Listen, finance is needed to adopt modern technologies. In this business, if we want to chase the cutthroat competition, every businessman has to spend the money on the updation of the technologies. Because without updation of the technologies, the requirement of the consumers cannot be met out, or the profit cannot be managed. The next is growth and expansion. Higher growth of the business enterprise requires higher investment in fixed assets. So finance is needed for the growth and expansion. Let us see the classification of sources of finance. The finance can be classified on the basis of period, on the basis of ownership, on the basis of generation. On the basis of the period, we can classify the business. On the basis of the period, we can classify the sources of fund as long-term source, medium-term source and the short-term source. Long-term means money invested for more than 5 years. Medium means the money needed for more than 1 year but less than 5 years. Money needed up to 5 years is called short-term. On the basis of ownership, the finance can be categorized into two, that is owner's fund and borrowed fund. And on the basis of sources of generation, we can categorize the sources of finance as internal source and external source. We have to learn the contents comes under the long term, medium term, short term, because it can be asked in the paper. In this chapter, we will categorize the funds on the basis of ownership. Let us see the methods of raising finance. One of the method of raising finance is issue of capital. Listen, the capital obtained by the issue of share is called share capital. The capital of a company is divided into a small unit, and that is called shares. If a company is having 10,000 shares of 10 each, then the share capital of the company will be 1 lakh rupees. So the total 1 lakh rupees will be divided into 10,000 shares, and the value of 10 each share is 10 rupees. So the capital of the company will be divided into a small unit. Here the capital of the company is being divided into a small unit, that is 10,000 shares, and the value per share is 10 rupees. So here we can say that the company's capital, the capital of the company is divided into small units, that is called share. The person holding the share is called share capital, shareholders. So any person who is holding the share, they are called the shareholders. There are two types of shares. One is called the equity shares and the other one is called the preference shares. Let us see the equity shares first. Equity share represents the ownership of a company. It means that the equity share is also called the ordinary shares. It is also called the ownership shares. The holders of the equity shares have the voting right. It means they participate in the management meetings. Remember one thing, equity shareholders, they don't have the preferential right. When I say they don't have the preferential right, it means what? It means at the time they don't have the preferential right on the payment of dividend and the repayment of principal amount. Firstly, the dividend should be paid to the preference shareholders. After making the payments to the preference shareholders, the leftover should be given to the equity shareholders. The same thing happens at the time of repayment of the principal amount. Firstly, the money should be paid to the preference shareholders at the time of liquidation of the company, and if any money is being left after the payment of the preference shareholders, then that money will be paid to the equity shareholders. So we can say that equity shareholders, they don't have the preferential rights on the payment of dividend and repayment of loan. Remember one thing, consideration on the annual consideration on the shares is called the dividend. We know that the return on the loan is called interest. Similarly, the annual consideration, the annual return on the share is called dividend. Now let us see the advantages of equity shares. First is permanent capital. Listen, equity share is the very important source of finance for a long term. It is a permanent capital. Why it is called a permanent capital? Because the money on the equity share will be returned only at the time of liquidation of the company. So it is a permanent capital because the existence of the company or the life of the company is unlimited. So the raising the money by the issue of equity shares is a permanent source of finance. The next is no charge on assets. What it means? Mostly we have seen that if we borrow the money from the outsiders, then against the value of the assets, the money can be borrowed. But in the case of the shares, the money can be raised without putting any asset as a mortgage. So it is the way of raising the money without the charge on assets. The next is higher return. Equity shareholders get higher returns in the year of high profit because the rate of dividend and the return is not fixed on the equity shares. So when the organization is earning a high profit, then the maximum benefit is being availed or enjoyed by the equity shareholders. The next is control. The equity shareholders are the owners of the company and they have the voting right. So they have a complete control on the management of the company. The next is no burden on company. The company don't have any obligation or they don't have any financial commitment on the equity shares. It means that if the company earns a profit, then only the payment will be made to the equity shareholders, and if the company is not earning any profit, that there is no obligation that the company will pay the dividend to the equity shareholders. The payment of the dividend on equity shareholder is not compulsory. Let us see the limitations. The first is risk. Equity shareholders bear high risk. Why they are bearing the risk? Because the payment to the equity shareholder will be made after the payment of preference shareholders, and that too if the profit is being left. So the equity shareholders are bearing the maximum risk. Next is higher cost. The cost of raising the cost of equity share is greater than the cost of preference shares, because underwriting commission has to be paid, so the cost of equity share is more. The next is delay. Issue of equity shares is time consuming, because firstly the prospectus should be issued, then the SEBI's guidelines has to be followed. So ample of obligations are there, formalities are there before the issue of equity shares. The next is dependence on share market conditions. Equity shareholders are the primary risk bearer, and therefore the demand of equity shares is more in the boom time. It means during the depression time period, it is very difficult to raise the money through the equity shares, but it becomes very easy to raise the money by the equity share during the boom time period. Now let us see the preference shares. Listen, preference shares are considered safer in investment as compared to the equity shares. These are those shares on which the shareholders enjoy the preferential right at the time of getting the dividend or at the time of repayment of the principal amount. They don't have the voting right, because preference shareholders, they are not the owners of the company, and the dividend on the preference share is fixed. Let us see the type of the preference shares. There are following types of preference shares. The first one is called the cumulative preference shares. We know that in the case of the shares, the dividend will only be paid when the organization earns a profit. If the organization doesn't earn a profit, then the dividend will not be paid. But in the case of cumulative preference shares, if the company didn't earn the profit, then the dividend will not be paid. But when the organization earns a profit, then in that year, the previous year profit will also be paid along with the current year profit. That is called cumulative preference shares. When I say non-cumulative preference shares, it means that the dividend will only be paid when the organization earns a profit. Suppose if the organization will not earn the profit, then the dividend will not be paid, not in the next year when the organization earns a profit. The next is participating preference shares. We know that in the case of the preference shares, the fixed dividend will be paid to the preference shareholders. But in the case of participating preference shares, the preference shareholder will get the fixed dividend. Along with the fixed dividend, they will also get a certain percentage of the profit. Then the next one is non-participating preference shares. In the non-participating preference shares, the preference shareholder will only get the fixed dividend which is being promised at the time of issuing the preference shares. Then next one is convertible preference shares. It is that preference shares which enjoys the right of converting the preference share into equity shares or another type of preference shares. Next one is non-convertible preference share. It is that share which cannot be converted in any of the securities. Now let us see the merits of preference shares. The first is investment is safe. Listen, the preference shareholders' investment is safe. Why? Because under the preference share, the fixed rate of dividend will be paid. The next is no charge on assets. It means that the company does not need to mortgage its assets for the issue of preference shares. The next one is control. It does not affect the control of equity shareholders because they do not have voting right. I mean, issuing of the prospectus, issuing of the preference shares will not affect the ownership right of the equity shareholders. Equity shareholder will keep on enjoying the ownership right, because the preference shareholders, they don't have the voting right. The next is fixed dividend. The preference shareholders get the fixed dividend, so they are useful for those investors who want fixed rate of returns. Now let us see the limitations and the demerits. The first one is costly source of fund. The rate of preference share dividend is greater than the rate of interest on debentures. For a company, it is a costly source of fund than debentures. So mostly the company prefers to raise the money by the debentures. Why? Because debenture is cheaper. The next one is no tax saving. Preference share dividend is not deductible from profit for income tax. It means firstly the tax will be paid, and after paying the income tax, on the leftover profit the dividend is paid. So the preference dividends are not tax saving securities. The next is not suitable for risk taker. Preference shares is not suitable for those who are willing to take risk for higher returns. The next is dividend on the shares to be paid only when the company earns profit. Remember one thing, the dividend will only be paid when the company earns the profit. So the investors may not be very attractive to these securities because here the risk factor is also there. Now let us see the difference between the equity shares and the preference shares. The first is dividend. In the case of the equity shares, the dividend will be paid after the preference shareholders. Preference shares. In the case of the preference shares, the dividend will be paid on priority basis. Firstly, the preference dividend should be paid to the preference shareholders, and then the dividend will be paid on equity shareholders. So they have the preference shareholders have the preferential right on dividend. Equity shareholders, they don't have the preferential right on dividend. The next is voting right. Equity shareholders have a voting right. Preference shareholders, they don't have a voting right. The next is risk. Risk bearing securities, equity shares is the risk bearing security, whereas the risk factor is less in the case of preference shares. Next is return on return. It fluctuates with the profit, whereas the return is fixed. Why? Because the dividend is fixed. The next is control. There is, in the case of equity shares, the equity shareholders have a control on the management, but the preference shareholders have no control on the management. That's all I have in this video. Thanks for watching. God bless you all. Dear subscribers, if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe the channel so that whenever I upload the new video, you get the notification.